Hi, and welcome back to Focal Point AFR Talk. Just to close the loop on those M302 missiles coming from Iran, they were destined for the Gaza Strip and apparently going to be taken from the Gaza Strip where they're going to be offloaded and taken down to the Sinai, where Hamas is working actually with Al-Qaeda in the Sinai Peninsula. And the speculation from Israeli intelligence is they were going to build some launch sites in the Sinai Peninsula and rain those Iranian-produced missiles down on the Israelis. The shipment was intercepted, now being towed to port where Israel is going to take a closer look at all that. Anyway, I want to welcome to our decision maker line Representative Bob McDermott. Bob is a representative in the state legislature on the islands or island of Hawaii. Representative McDermott, welcome to Focal Point with Brian Fisher.
Hi, Brian. I'm a big fan. I get your newsletter every week, and I read it, and I enjoy Alan Keyes' articles on there and everybody else's, too. By the way, I'm on Oahu in the state of Hawaii. We got several islands, and Oahu is the center of the political action.
Well, you know, and I got to say, Bob, people in Hawaii need to be represented in the state legislature, so, there are worse places to serve in political office.
Yes, sir. We just passed same-sex marriage about 6 months ago, and we had 10,000 people out protesting in front of the Capitol. Because you're on an island, it's very easy to get there. And the legislators just did not listen to them, and that was heartbreaking.
Yeah, and I remember that, Bob. It was really striking how many people turned out for these rallies. I mean, the people showed up to let the legislature know what they wanted, and I mean, if memory serves, they barely could get a hearing from the legislators that were making these decisions, and their voices were simply ignored.
That's right. In the state Senate, they limited it to 4 hours, I think. Now, in the state House, we went on, gave everybody an opportunity for days and days, but it was a dog and pony show. It didn't matter. The testimony was 90% to 10 against same-sex marriage, 90-10, and they still passed it. The homosexual activists and the political correctness, it descended like a cloud over the state capitol. I can tell you because I was there. And I talked to my wife, and I said, look, somebody's got to say something. Nobody's saying anything. Mm-hmm. And I was in there back in 96 when it first came up. And she said, well, be careful. I said, okay. And as soon as I opened my mouth, I was the only guy talking, so overnight, I became well known, I guess.
Well, yeah, and that's what the gay lobby will do. I just refer to them as Big Gay. Tammy Bruce calls them the gay Gestapo. They'll do the classic Saul Alinsky thing. They'll pick a target, they'll polarize it, they'll freeze it, and then they'll try to demonize it and take it out. So they love it when there's just one man with the courage to stick his head out of the foxhole and take a stand for what's right. Then they can focus all of their wrath on that one target.
But you know what, Brian? If you speak the truth, as we know it as people of faith, you'll be just fine. I found that. You just talk about the truth, whether it's the sex education programs or Southern Poverty Law Center or whatever they're doing. They're so lazy and sloppy in the way they do things and clumsy. They break laws. They violate ethics. They do all this stuff because they all are involved in this groupthink process, and everybody's on board. Well, no, everybody's not, and so that's what we're fighting, and that's why I'm here. This battle is more important than my office that I hold. I'm not concerned about that. So many of my friends agree with me, but they cower like Nicodemus.
And it takes courage. It takes courage to make your voice heard and to speak. And one of the things I frequently say, I don't remember who said it first. It might have been John Wesley, that one man with God is always in the majority. So that's all that matters, that we are speaking and representing the truth of God. Well, Bob, the specific reason talking here with State Representative Bob McDermott from the state of Hawaii. And the reason I wanted to bring you on, Bob, is our old friends at the Southern Poverty Law Center, they demonized us as a hate group back in 2010. They demonized Family Research Council, other pro-family groups. They have slapped the hate group label on them. And every time our name shows up, if it's somebody that doesn't like us, they refer to us as a certified hate group from the SPLC. And now we discover from what you've uncovered there in Hawaii that the SPLC is out there actually astonishingly in charge of tolerance training in the state of Hawaii. Tell us about that.
Well, first, consider yourself in good company because they also list the Singing Nuns of Spokane, Washington as a hate group. So that's very funny. Yes, they came in. What they did is they broke our state laws. So what they did was they came in and said, we'll offer free teacher training, and we're going to teach you tolerance. Well, you know what that means. Yeah, there's some components on racial equality and things like that, but that's not what it's about. 25% of the examples have to do with homosexuality or transgenderism, when the actual numbers in society are like 3.5% of adults engage in that behavior, and 0.03% of adults engage in transgenderism. Why would you introduce that to the entire school? But, and I'll get into the particulars in a moment, but where they screwed up was they offered the teachers go to this training, and the department pays them $150 on their day off to go to the training. But then Southern Poverty Law Center says, we'll give you another $250 if you implement this in your classroom. We'll give you. So that's a cash payment for influencing government action, a government employee's behavior.
I mean, that actually amounts. I don't know if the technical word
bribery.
for it there is it's a bribe, but that's what that is morally.
Of course. And what they do, they're sneaky. So they know they can't get this rubbish in the curriculum, because parents would be outraged, because parents can go on the web and they can see it, and they have a right to know what their kids are taught. So they get in through the back door, and this is the whole thing with Common Core standards. They offer supplementary materials to make the teacher's job easier. So here's a turnkey package for you of supplementary handouts, videos, web links, tools to get you to meet your standards. And of course, it has our flavor of tolerance. So they violated state law. So we filed an ethics commission against the superintendent. She is being poorly served by her staff. Clearly, she can't read everything comes in front of her, but she needs to know this is serious. They have story about 2 homosexual penguins for first graders. Now, why would a first grader need to know about 2 homosexual penguins?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's a story about 10,000 dresses for a boy named Bailey. Second grade story.
Wow.
Now, these are for English and social studies classes. Why are they not learning pronouns, nouns, verbs, sentence structure? Why are they learning about 10,000 dresses for Bailey? There's a story about 2 moms in there. Here's the best one, this anti-bias curriculum. I'm going to quote verbatim for you. This is an example. Patrick is, quote, Patrick is being raised in a very strict and exclusionary fundamentalist Christian home. That's the setup.
Not just strict, but very strict and exclusionary. I mean, this, of course, that's the antithesis of being inclusive and diverse and multiculturalism, and it's a fundamentalist. I mean, they packed as many loaded words into that one sentence as they possibly could.
Oh, it's dripping with leftist agenda. There's no secret about that. But these guys are sneaky. They're infiltrating through the university. Parents, I can assure you, I have children in public school. They are totally unaware of this insidious process.
Well, and Bob, until I saw the story in the Hawaii Free Press, I did not realize that SPLC was going into the elementary school and peddling their indoctrination and their brainwashing at that level. Oh,
they are. And but the thing is, the teacher only gets the $250 if a representative from the university, which is loaded with liberals, or the DOE, again, infested with liberals, or SPLC observes them in the classroom implementing the material. So it is absolutely a bribe because you're getting cash for specific action. And we have a state statute that says you cannot give a gift or cash inducement to influence the behavior of an employee or a government official. And so they called SPLC, the department calls them their educational partner. I said, well, they're a civil rights action group. They're not an educational institution.
Yeah.
I asked the superintendent, I said, what if the Tea Party would have an educational arm? Would you allow them in the schools? Of course not.
Yeah.
And neither would I. I want rudimentary, elementary education to take place, not political indoctrination, left or right.
Well,
Leave that out in the community. Teach the kids.
And you wonder, just on the part of leftists, that this is part of their agenda. They really do not want kids to be able to read and think for themselves, because they might then start questioning the leftist dogma that they're being exposed to. And so I think in some kind of almost perverse way would just as soon kids not be able to read and write and think for themselves, because they might break out of the liberal plantation and make a break for freedom.
Well, Brian, I read your articles, and you know where this is going, right? This is the total sexualization of the innocent. And they're, next thing, age of consent in our state is going to drop from 14 to 13 to 12. There's I'll send your guys some stuff on this program called Pono Choices, which is the sex education program, which is just the things they teach. I don't even think I can say on your radio. For 11-year-olds, it's outrageous, and it's even more inflammatory. And so we know where this is going. You know, because I've read your writings, where this is going. They're brainwashing the kids, indoctrinate them at first grade, so when they're adults, they think homosexual behavior is just fine. There's nothing wrong with it. And they desensitize them. And that's the whole agenda here. Same-sex marriage is legitimized, and then this indoctrination is desensitizing. The frog in the kettle, and before you know it, you're cooked.
And the SPLC, I think they could be classified as an anti-Christian hate group all by themselves. The shooter that went into Family Research Council a year and a half ago, he used a hate map he got from the SPLC. So their hands are far from clean in all of this. Our guest has been Representative Bob McDermott. He's the state representative in the Hawaii State Legislature, fighting a good fight there in Hawaii. And Bob, it's just great to have a chance to chat with you. I know our listeners are going to be excited to know that we've got a culture warrior in the legislature in the state of Hawaii. Thank you for taking time to be with us, and God bless you, my friend.
Thank you, Brian. And if people want to know more, just go to our Facebook page, Representative Bob McDermott. Thank you, Brian.
Terrific, Bob. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
So Bob McDermott in the Hawaii legislature. Go to Bob McDermott on the Facebook, and you can find him there in Hawaii. Stay in touch with what he's up to. We'll have him back on the program. Focal Point AFR Talk.